Hello, everyone. We will give everybody a few minutes to get loaded in the session and then we'll get started.
Um,
Did you have a nice holiday weekend, Bianca?
I did. I took Labor Day by its word and labored.
My goodness.
So, yeah, but I did have a good weekend.
Um, yeah, did someone win the Powerball? I saw like people were like, wouldn't it be awesome to win the Powerball $1 billion
Wow,
on Labor Day?
that would have been cool. No, I didn't follow that.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Do you
play,
play?
so
No.
here we
I,
sit.
I know. You got to play to win, right?
Darn it.
I
No
know.
winners yet. Oh, I better go. Thanks, Mark. I better go buy it. I better go buy a ticket.
Yeah.
Mark, if you win, will you still come to Boston? Awesome. We'll have you buy out the rest of the seats at Yankee Stadium so that more people from the collaborative can get in. Oh, and drinks. Okay, we'll take that too. All right, everyone, we're just waiting for while people load into the meeting. I think we'll be a little bit late today as people have extended the Labor Day weekend or are
hmm
busy catching up.
I know the Tuesday after a holiday, it's just not even. It's not even worth
It's
mentioning.
Monday, it's Monday on a Tuesday.
It's Monday on a Tuesday with another day packed in. And let's be honest, everybody took off on Friday, so it's like actually a 3 day
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's like basically cramming a whole week into one day. It's fine. We're fine.
yeah. We had a board meeting Friday afternoon. I was like, who was the genius that scheduled this?
Helps you. Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
forgot. I was thinking that Labor Day was the following Monday, I guess. Oh well. All
Yeah.
right, let's get started. So, welcome everyone to the SIP. I'm your host, Jody Hall, the CEO and the president of the Mortgage Collaborative. And I'm glad that you are joining us today for those who were able to step in on the Monday on a Tuesday. The SIP isn't just a show, it's a space for real connection. So, think of catching up over a cup of coffee or a cocktail, relaxed, insightful, and rooted in collaboration. In the same spirit, we celebrate the TMC winter and summer reunions where camaraderie meets purpose. Today's episode is a special episode. We're shifting gears to help navigate conference season, whether you're a lender member or a preferred partner. I hope you all had a safe and refreshing long weekend and are feeling recharged to finish the year strong. This episode is proudly sponsored and co hosted by Bianca Brews of Bianca Brews Company, BBCO for short. Bianca, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I was really looking forward to this conversation. And I have to admit, I'm a little bit nervous because while I love chatting, I also think when it matters a lot, my nerves kick in. So this must matter a lot because I've already used my handkerchief twice.
So I'm so good at this. It's only been called the SIP since we started it in, I think, March, and
Yeah,
I have an empty can of water, so not even anything fun.
I know, me either. I'm on water and B12. I did
Yeah.
boost up on a shot of B12 since I couldn't do the bourbon. It's only 11 a.m. in California.
B12 and caffeine, I am sure.
That's right. Yeah, going strong.
Awesome. I know it's hard to believe, but not everyone knows you yet. Um,
Yeah,
your journey
yes.
is both, and I know you well, but your journey is both fascinating and inspiring. So let's kick the show off with you telling us a little bit about yourself and about BBCO and how it came to fruition.
Yeah, so it's fun when you know start a company at the ripe age of 26 and think, I'm going to call it something that no one knows what it means, and it's going to be reflective of absolutely nothing I have. So I founded Certus Consulting, and Certus is the root word for certainty in Latin. So I love words, and English is my second language. And at 27, if any one of you remember being 27, you literally have no certainty. So in my 30s, I rebranded and thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a local brand, and what counts is what people know and how they know you. And so your name should go with that. And I still am a firm believer in owning your brand and owning your name. So I named the company Bianca Bruce because I thought I was going to be a local brand, and here we are. So
Well,
I
if that was at 27, then so now 2 years later, you're still BB Co.
That's right. So now, 2 years later, when people, I have a team, and you're so kind for making that comment. But I know how old my company is because my daughter was 1 when I founded it, and she's now 20. So to give you perspective, in consulting and in this industry specifically, a lot of times consultants just kind of pop up out of the woodworks, and I like to say I'm a career consultant, meaning really, honestly, hardly anything scares me. That's probably part of my DNA, having grown up in Eastern Europe, but also it's just you get to work with every kind of business in every kind of environment. So yes, Bianca Bruce, biancabruce.com, anything Bianca Bruce. It's to the delight of my children when they are when they are approached being, oh, you must be Bianca Bruce's daughter. And so it's covering all the fronts for me.
And you aren't just in mortgage, like mortgage
No.
is one of the later spaces in your journey.
Yes.
Are you
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah, I still remember my very first mortgage conference, and I'm so excited to talk about conference in general because that's how I was introduced to the crazy that is the mortgage space. Y'all don't even know what the rest of the world looks like in terms of business. Like I can't even describe it to you because the first conference I went to, I was a little bit shell shocked. It felt like a combination of a popularity contest. All the cool kids are there, and also, I was hurled back to middle school instantly, and I did not have the perfect middle school experience. So maybe I had the perfect middle school experience because it totally humbled me. But we've been in all manner of industries, everything from retail to architecture, real estate, fortune companies, and startups. So everything, truly everything that is business, I had the opportunity to work with, and I'm still doing all of that, which is interesting when you then start talking about your value proposition and what do you do, really narrowing that down. So for the mortgage space, when we first came into that, I was warned. I was absolutely warned. And I just, I'm the person that rips off the warning labels and doesn't follow the instructions. And so I should have listened a little bit better. But in all seriousness, it's an exciting space to be in because it's always changing. And we use words like innovation and resilience that we almost copy from each other, and I think it's a space in which you can define what it means to you to be in business. And we're covering all the things, right? We're B2B, and we're also ultimately B2C. And the perception that people have of the mortgage space is really important. Like, it has a brand in and of itself. So when I first came into the space, it was like, what does the brand have to do with anything? And it's easy to say everything, but it's truly summed up well with how you make people feel. And you know this, right? You talk to so many people, you engage with so many companies, and there is a sense of an experience that you can have with a company that really knows who they are, what they stand for, and how they fit into the space. And that's exciting to participate and collaborate with, and also to make a difference in that.
Yeah, I tell everyone, we talk about the different types of mortgage companies, whether it's depository, independent mortgage bank, and we also talk about the different size. The one thing about the mortgage industry is you get a client into the lead funnel and you take that client all the way through to closing and funding their loan and then selling or securitizing the loan. That all is exactly the same. And
Mhm.
that doesn't change. And I think like across industries is very similar. I'm an entrepreneur. Besides having my own company, my father and I, many years ago, built a restaurant. And I did the cooking. We'll talk about that some
Mhm.
other day. But the principles of business are the same regardless of the industry
Yeah.
that you're in. And you don't have to be in the mortgage industry to be able to understand business structure, change management,
Mhm.
strategic planning, all of the things, the organizational structure, it all across industries is the same. The same way with knowing your value proposition should be the
Mhm.
same from individual all the way through every industry, every company. So I think that there are a lot of similarities, even though we do like to feel like we're extremely unique in the mortgage industry. And I think we try to make it crazier than it is oftentimes. But let's talk
Yes.
conference strategy. So we're entering into conference season as we know it in the mortgage industry there too. The one that starts in February and the one that ramps back up in September. And our Boston
Mhm.
conference will all be headed to Boston in 10 days. Um, but someone is typing in the chat about my F-bomb in the background, and I thought they said because I sometimes say that. I thought that I said
I
it.
did too.
I got scared there for a second.
Yeah. I,
Um,
I I replayed it back in my head and I'm like, no, 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 that makes me talk about something else.
I didn't say it.
No, you
But
didn't.
we have the Boston conference coming up for the Mortgage Collaborative.
Mhm.
I can't believe how close it is.
I know,
But
me neither.
but in a world full of noise, how should service providers show up, our preferred partners show up at conference with clarity and impact?
Yeah. So I love that question because it's like it focuses you and marks the X on the map, like here you are. And it's a hard conversation to have, a big conversation to have, but there's a way to simplify it. So I think first and foremost, when people talk about their value proposition, they often, you're not doing anything wrong in doing this, because it's sort of like a stumbling block, right? You think that your value proposition is about you, what you bring, what you have to offer, what your product is, what your service is. And I would like to challenge us to think of our value proposition as something that is has absolutely nothing to do with us. It is really about how we serve into our audience. And so I think of a value as a purpose, right? So, what is it that you want to be about? What do you want to be known for? And when you think of it in those simple micro steps, you can start coming up with words and phrases that are specific to your service, your product, your company, and teach it out into every part of who is going to be representing you, especially publicly, at a conference, for example. So that's your sales team, that's your executive team. So you have one resounding message that you arrive with, not everything. You can imagine, like BB Co, we could come with everything in the kitchen sink. We're really trying to be specific about what it is that you bring to the conference, and ask yourself, what do I stand for and what do I want to be known for? How do I lead with a servant mindset into the audience that I'm approaching? So that could be for partners. That's other partners too. Um, it's not just a chase to the target. And don't make your target your target. Nobody wants to be a target. Everybody wants to have an experience and wants to be collaborated with. And so TMC does a great job of this by already putting the word of the value in the name. So way to go. Collaboration. It's right there. So your value proposition is about your audience, and it's collaborative. It's to do something together.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have taught me this over the time that we have known each other that, I often feel like I'm repeating myself. But
Mhm.
people have to know what your mission and your purpose is. And
Yep.
because they're going to need to hear it 6 or 7 times before they really know what you do.
Yeah.
So I think that it is important to drive home, like, don't feel redundant. And I do feel like people need to go. I talk to our preferred partners, and like, if you go in, I know this is very difficult being in a sales role, but if you can go in, maybe you don't even have meetings preset,
Hmm.
and you make every interaction purposeful, you're going to get far greater value out of
Hmm.
those interactions than if you go in very targeted, as you said, and with the mission of sales. It should be the
Yeah.
mission of building a relationship and solving problems with each other for the industry with that servant leadership mindset.
Absolutely. I think what is super underrated in our world is a beginner's mindset. I think when we are looking at the huge problems that we're wanting to solve, and we're also in a world in which circumstances are dictating what our next tactical steps are. And so it's very easy to stay almost paralyzed and attached to what it is that you've already, what you do, what you've done, what you know, who you know. And as somebody who is still fairly new in this industry, it's only been about 8 years. I mean, I work with people who I've been in the industry for 27 years. You've seen it all. So can you imagine the intellectual property and the EQ, IQ that that is as present at a conference? So tap into that. Don't be afraid to come at it from a beginner's mindset. It's the only option I have because I still feel like such a beginner. So it's like if I'm into the 8 years, this is actually I think I just made it through middle school. Y'all have like your PhD, so come to it with that beginner's mindset. Come to it to ask questions. Don't be afraid to not know what the answer is, because and if you are a service provider, having one solution that you bring forward is plenty. It's more than enough. One tiny entry point to have a open collaborative conversation is enough. So you mentioned purpose, and I think of the 4 Ps. It's purpose, position, product, and place. So what's your why? How do you position yourself into the conversation? So Boston, think of Boston. What are you bringing to Boston? Is it questions? Is it a special offering to a particular meeting? Is it no meetings, but connection? It That's enough. Like you said, that's plenty good. And then know your product, and not all of it, just like 1 or 2 or 3 things max that you could have a quick conversation on, and place it. Understand that what you are placing into the ecosystem that is TMC Boston has an impact. It has a ripple effect. And people in this industry, more than any other industry that I've been participating in, they talk about each other, and you get to decide what they say about you. And that's a really powerful thing to have ownership over.
Yeah, yeah. And don't, what if people don't know, they'll make it up. So you better make
Yep.
sure
Just
that you
tell them.
heard the word. Yeah, absolutely. And this session isn't just for preferred partners or for vendors outside of the network that are going to conference. This is for our lenders. And it is great that we've all been away for the summer, and it's a great place to reconnect with our peers, but it's not just a reunion. Your
Mm-mm.
companies invest a lot for you to be able to attend, and it's your responsibility to make those interaction count. And most of you know that I am a recovering lender, and have, been to many conferences as a lender, and been at many conferences as a lender at a very large independent mortgage bank, which is very scary, for
Mhm.
the amount of inquiries that you get. But here's a few things that I did with my teams, through those times, that I encourage our lender members to also take advantage of. You should be having meetings this week if you can, next week at the latest, before you go into conference. and get feedback from your team for what they want to learn or what they want you to bring back. Pre-plan your meetings, and that's not
Mhm.
just scheduling the meetings, but you want to make sure that you're meeting with your existing preferred partners so that you know what their product updates are. Ask them what the roadmap is for the rest of Q4, what is happening in 2026. There our preferred partners are evolving so quickly, it's very difficult to stay up on what they do. And oftentimes I will hear our lender members ask a question about, do you know who does this? And I'm like, well, so and so does it. It's a preferred partner. And they're like, oh, I use them for this. So it's a time to also to be able to hear what else is being offered from a product perspective, and you may be able to consolidate your reach. Um, Make every interaction intentional. And
Mhm.
this is something that is very difficult for people. If you're standing at opening reception having a drink, you can have a very intentional conversation. And it's not pushy. It really is about, and it further builds your relationship. And that is something that I've always tried to do, is to continuously have that intentional interaction with individuals. And don't take a break. You can sleep on the plane on the way home. Don't go up to your room because you need a break. Keep going to all of the sessions, keep interacting with people, take some B12, get some caffeine in you. You will be
Got you.
fine. Take notes and text yourself reminders or ping your team either through instant messenger on your phone or text message. Remind me to tell you about this, as reminders of what you're learning at the conference. And then before you go to conference, schedule a post-conference meeting with your leadership team. That's before you leave for conference, because it's helping hold yourself accountable to bring back to them
Mhm.
the things that they ask for. And that will help you get every dollar out of your attendance and travel to a conference, regardless of the conference that you're going to. But you definitely have to be intentional, and you have to go in with the mission of learning as much as humanly possible. And those face-to-face conversations are so much more valuable than sitting across the monitor from each other on virtual meetings. So
Yeah,
Bianca,
those are great tips.
we often walk away from meetings thinking I still don't know what they do. Like I
Hmm.
have heard some, I mean, I like to look at technology, and I talk to a significant number of startups, and I'm like,
Hmm.
no, but like what do you do? And I'll walk away from
Hmm.
those meetings. And many companies, they don't know their unique value proposition, and they struggle to communicate clearly. How can our partners better articulate their value proposition and to their contacts at conference? You touched on a little bit, but maybe you can jump in a little deeper there.
Yeah. So I mean, right off the bat, pro tip, don't use buzzwords, right? And like if your thing right now is AI, that's wonderful. I love you so much. That's great. Good for you. That doesn't mean much to anyone else out there except if to you. So identify what you bring and the solution that it that is attached to your offering, to your product, to your service. Make it very, very specific. Don't assume that your counterpart knows. Just because somebody goes, oh, okay, that's interesting, doesn't mean that they get it. So imagine if you knew nothing about what it is you do. Come with that, right? Come with what it is the takeaway of what it is that your solution actually solves for. If it's AI, make it specific. And then also ask questions, right? Don't be afraid to present your value proposition and then ask a question. And don't ask a leading question or yes or no question. Ask an open-ended question. And don't be afraid to ask for the biggest problem that your counterpart is currently faced with. And also, when you hear that problem and they articulate it, understand that we're all human and we all run businesses, and we most of the time don't actually know what we need. And so we don't actually know our most pressing problem. Articulating your value proposition, and leading with one solution that is attached to an outcome is going to be your best bet.
Yeah. And if you're searching for that, so you want to be prepared, read the pulse of the network. And we give
Yeah.
you what the lender members, what their initiatives are, what their challenges are. And perhaps one of your solutions will be able to solve that problem for them or help to drive the lender forward.
Absolutely. And I also think, just an observation. So yes, this is very valuable to being to prepared for every and any conference, but TMC is really special and unique. I mean, it's a space where you literally roll up your sleeves. I will never forget my first TMC conference, and I was positively blown away at the amount of, couldn't take notes fast enough, the amount of learning that can happen. So again, that beginner's mindset, and also leave your feelings, like your charged feelings, like check them at the big signs. There's going to be all these signs that you can see, like what collab lab you're going to be in, or what session you're going to be in. Leave your feelings at the front door. They'll be there when you're ready to leave the room again. Because I think it allows you to be so much more receptive to actually discussing solutions. And I think that's super powerful and very unique to conferences. So come with that mindset, and that sort of like attitude of learning and contributing.
Yeah, I talk to our preferred partners a lot, and I talk to them about bring something exciting to the table. So I constantly hear, like, how do I get a meeting with this member? How do I get a meeting with this individual? And if you bring something of value, and it doesn't have to be anything major, it can be like, I'll buy a cup of coffee to tell you about our new product that does
Yeah,
X, Y, and Z. Or, and by the way, coffee breaks are free, so it's free
yeah.
to you. Or you could do some, I always, like restate what your value proposition or what your discount is to TMC
Hmm.
members. Or make it even something fun that doesn't even have to do with
Hmm.
the product. It's like learn more about my cooking class or something unique about you as an individual, because it's all about bringing that relationship to the table, regardless if you are a lender member or preferred partner in the
Hmm.
organization.
I
So
think also asking questions about, I remember I would ask, do you intend to be in business 3 to 5 years from now? That was a very aggressive question that I asked 2 years ago, and everything was starting to happen, and we were all just kind of white knuckling our way through. But it turned out to be a really great question because it allowed for future minded conversation. So sometimes that's as easy or simple as it can get. It does not have to get super complicated in what it is you bring to the table.
So this is the genie time. So if you had one conference wish, what
Mhm.
would it be?
Um, one conference wish for myself or for everyone else?
Your wish. You
Okay,
can
so I am like I'm a worker. I'm a worker bee, and so no pun intended, because lots of times people just call me bee. But I would love nothing more than to have that actual collaboration and that feeling of creative problem solving. To me, that would be such a win. And if it's after 4:30 p.m., it should include whiskey. I'm just
I was going
saying,
to say there has to be a bourbon in hand.
there's, there's somewhere in there there's going to be whiskey. But truly, it is my favorite conference to go to, and because not only the participants and the members and everyone who's attending, but the team, I feel so cared for and so supported. And I think the ability to go again and to come at it from a different angle and be encouraged is such a huge value add. So don't be afraid to try something new and just collaborate. I suck at one thing of wishes. I have like 15.
We'll keep the wish list going
Yes.
for any of our lender members or our preferred partners. If you want help prepping for the upcoming conference, please reach out. I'm always happy to have a conversation. And I think that the reason that TMC feels that way, it really is a safe place where there isn't judgment. It's not clicky. It really is
Mhm.
just a safe place to get your questions answered and to help solution for things that you're facing. Being the leader of a mortgage company over the last 3 years has been extremely difficult. Not one person has all the answers for everything that has been thrown at you. And, it's a great place to be able to get help from people that may even be your competitors, but they want to elevate the industry, so they're willing to elevate you. Well, that's a
That's
wrap
that's a
already.
wrap. That was so fun.
So huge
I can,
thanks to Bianca Brew's company for sponsoring today's episode of The Sip. And Bianca, thank you so much for your insight and your passion for the industry. It's an amazing gift that you have. We'll be back
thank
next
you.
week, Tuesday, September the 9th at 2 p.m. Eastern for our TMC community and 4 p.m. on LinkedIn for the broader industry. And it'll be our last live episode before the conference. So exciting things to come. If you still haven't registered for conference and you need help getting
Do
involved, please reach
it.
out to me for that. And cheers
Yes.
and we'll see
Cheers.
you all next time on the SIP.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you, Jody. Thank you.